Next, we'll allow users to share their hashtag Android Trivia awesomeness. Because we're using an implicit intent, any app that supports using Action Send to send text can be used to share, including messaging apps, email, social media, and more. To begin, let's look at the winner menu I've already created. It has a single menu item, which has an icon in addition to a title. It also has this attribute called Show as Action if room. This will cause the menu item to be displayed as an icon in the action bar if there's room. Back in our Game 1 fragment, we need to follow some familiar steps to add the menu to our action bar. We'll add Set Has Options Menu True into OnCreateView, and we'll inflate our winner menu in OnCreateOptions menu. Let's create a method, getShareIntent, that will create our share intent. We'll move our Game 1 fragment args from bundle, from OnCreateView, into this method. Then we can create a new share implicit intent. We begin by constructing the intent with Action Send, which tells Android we want activities that are registered with an intent filter to handle the send action, which is useful for sharing. Then we'll set the type of data we're going to share to text/plain. Android uses the MIME type of our parameter to locate the correct activities to share to. If we wanted to share images using a MIME type of image/JPEG, for example, a different set of activities would be able to handle them. Then we'll add what is known as the intent extra. Intent extras are a key value data structure, similar to what we use in the bundle for fragment arguments. They are used to provide arguments for the intent. Some argument types, such as text, have predefined keys. Since we're going to share a string, we'll add the string with the predefined intent extra text key. Let's create one additional method to actually do our sharing. It will call getShareIntent to create the intent for us, and then call startActivity with the intent, which starts the activity with our new intent. Since many activities have intent filters that can handle our send text intent, we get a chooser, which, if we click through, will launch an activity that gets our text string. If only one activity can handle our intent, it will be selected automatically without a chooser. Now that we've created a function to do sharing, we need to hook it up to our menu action, which, as before, we do in OnOptions item selected. This time, we're not navigating within our app with the navigation controller, but instead navigating to another app using a custom intent. When the ID matches r.id.share defined in the menu XML, we call our shareSuccess method. We run our app, and the share button works. But sharing is done so often, there's a simpler way to generate this intent, using ShareCompat, which has a Fluent API. Now, Fluent here means the API uses method chaining to make the code more or less have the readability of written prose. We can call sharecompat.intentbuilder.fromActivity, set our text without having to know what extra to use, and then set the MIME type, finishing off by building our intent. Then we can start the activity as before. And of course, it still works. Now, there's one minor problem with our code. If there aren't any compatible activities that support our sharing, the code will crash. Well, that's unlikely for our text share. It could easily happen with other intents. We can simulate this unfortunate situation by leaving off the type from the intent. Running the app again, we get a crash with an activity not found exception. There are multiple ways we could handle this. We could catch the exception and throw up a toast, for example. In this case, we'll do something a bit more elegant. We'll hide the share menu item, which hides the icon, if we can't share. In our OnCreateOptions menu method, we can check to see if the intent will resolve to an activity. To do that, you call resolveActivity on the share intent with an instance of an Android system service called the Package Manager, which we can get from the activity. The Package Manager knows about every activity that is registered in the Android manifest across every application, so it can be used to see if our implicit intent will resolve to something. If resolveActivity returns null, we failed to resolve our activity, so let's hide this share menu item. We could have also just avoided inflating our menu, but this keeps things functional if we want to add additional items at a later date. To do that, similar to finding views by ID, we can ask the menu to find a menu item by ID using findItem, and then set the menu item's visibility to false. Now, when we run the app, the share icon will be gone from the winner screen. Finally, let's add the data type of text plain back to our ShareCompat intent builder. And the share icon returns. We're done. So that covers sharing with an intent. Our app can now work together with other apps.